Hi, everyone. Welcome to Laura's View and Tarot 2. We have another subscriber spotlight. Today, you're going to be able to put a face and a voice with a person who shows up in our comments quite often under the name From Fertility to Delivery. Her actual real birth name is Dayna. And Dayna, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Laura, and thank you, Julie, for having me. This is so fun and special.
Yes, Julie's
Hi,
also here.
hi everyone.
And I think everybody is aware that Julie's our moderator and she helps. She's my heart chakra.
I get the fun part.
Yeah, she puts the heart into the comments and things like that. I think I really do. I try to read them all, but I can't always respond to them all. And there's some that I think, oh, thank goodness she put in such a beautiful message. Okay, Julie, I think we were hearing your voice, but I don't think it was really very clear. Did you want to repeat what you just said?
Oh, no, I was just saying, sometimes I start reading the comments, and if there's like 300, 700 comments, I'm up all night reading them. I love it. It's so fun. I'm like, I got to go to bed. Yeah, I love reading all the comments. It's so fun.
So Dayna, you are one of those brave people that reached out and said, I'd be willing to do a spotlight. And so I wanted to just ask if you'll tell us where you're from and a little bit about what you really wanted to share with your friends and compatriots in the comments on our channel.
Yes, of course. So I live in sunny Florida, and I'm actually 30 minutes south of Mar-a-Lago. So I am really close to winter White House. And it is wonderful to live here. I was born and raised in Florida, so for me, this is just another winter. You know, it's winter, summer, spring. They're all the same season because it's not that cold. But either way, yeah, that's where I'm from, and I love it.
Yeah, now how did you choose your name From Fertility to Delivery? Because I think that's kind of tied in with what you hope to share with us, right?
Yes, yes. So it's a big part of how I woke up to everything, putting all the dots together. So I was actually a late bloomer, which is okay. I was married in like when I was 36, got pregnant at 9 months later after we got married and 37 years old. And by 38, we had our first son. And it was just this wonderful, amazing, transformational experience. And for all the moms and grandmoms out there and fathers and grandfathers, you know how transformational that can be. So I actually had a hypnobirthing experience with my son. I knew I didn't want to do any medication. I was going to do a hospital birth. I was with the OB for 15 years, knew her very well, wanted to stay with her for this birthing experience. So we decided to do the hypnobirthing, bliss-born hypnobirthing. And we took a class. It was 2 weekends. We learned all about going in and not having to have any medication and co-creating the experience with your baby. So we actually, my husband and I, he was a part of the class. The partner is an integral part. I call him my daddy doula because he definitely was a part of everything. And I ended up breaking water at around 5 a.m. in the morning. The hospital was 40 minutes away. So I had 3-minute contractions in the car on the way. And for those of you that have had those, yeah, for the first time, they were no fun, but I just had so many toolkits. I knew I just felt like I knew what I was doing. I practiced for my childbirth like it was the Olympics, and I was getting my gold medal. So I went in. As soon as we got to the hospital, they were like, come on, fill out some paperwork. Because when you're hypnobirthing, you're very calm. And they don't really realize that you're like right ready to transition. So I said no, and I said, you need to check me. And I was 10 centimeters dilated. I'm like, oh, you need to get going. So we got in there, and under 3 hours of my water breaking, I was holding our son. And it was just breathtaking. No meds, no medication. It was kind of odd to be in the hospital. So the second son came around 19 months later, and we decided to have a home birth. But he did come 6 weeks early. So I still had a home birth, but my husband ended up catching the baby while the 911 personnel was on the phone and the firefighters were outside. So I was able to get the whole thing on tape, and I was able to give that to him for his Father's Day gift of him, and we actually put it on YouTube as well. So it's on my channel. So you can hear a hypnobirth audio. And it's not like the births that you see on TV. It's not like the sitcom births that are, they're actually programmed to be very traumatic, to create traumatic births. That's a part of the programming that we're in this world. And mine is very calm and very relaxing and very easy. And my grandmother, she actually had 9 children on the islands in Bahamas and Jamaica. So I thought about her a lot when I was pregnant and when we were giving birth. She was, all home births, all, midwives. And my first son was born on her birthday. She would have been 100 years old.
Oh, wow.
Yes, and she passed away at 97, so it was very fresh. So just all of that culminated to an awakening, basically. So my second son was born in March of 2020. And we all know what happened in March of 2020. Right, he came on the 13th, and on the 15th, we were all hunkered down. Well, I was already hunkered down, so I'm like, okay, the rest of the world has to go through maternity leave with me at home. Everybody else is at home, so I'll be home too. I didn't mind it at all. But things just didn't make sense to me. And every day that went by, it just didn't make sense. So in June, I had a premonition to go onto YouTube and search the word CABAL, or deep state that we call it online. So I went in, and the fall of the popped up, and back then there was 10 videos, and I watched all 10 of them in less than 24 hours, and everything just boom, it just hit me like a ton of bricks. I started connecting all the dots. I knew about that group for over 5 years. I knew about Alpha Dracos. I knew about all the other things, but politically, I was not awake. So when I found out about the political faction of it, that just threw me. And I just had to start like digging deeper and deeper and deeper. So come November of that same year, 2020, we all know what happened in November, I did fill out my Scantron, but I was still programmed. My Scantron that I, mailed in at the time was blueberry ice cream with a cherry on top. so I voted for the GOP at the top, but I was still voting Democrat. I'm a lifelong Democrat. It was so hard to realize, what was happening. And then in February, as I was still going down all my rabbit holes, my son came home with this.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
And this woke me up.
He's how old?
He was 4. At the time, he was probably 2.5, and he created this at school, and he came home with it, and that was my sign, like, giddy up. You need to really realize what's going on. And I woke up even deeper, and I just kept on going on down all the rabbit holes, watching videos, doing my research. And that was when I really, I had to figure everything out and be open to everything.
Yeah. At first you want to find your good guys to, trust,
Mm-hmm.
and it starts, and we're raised, that's the programming. We're raised to pick your party. This one stands for this, and really it's kind of a uniparty thing. It's almost like some geeky guy with a unibrow, and yeah, so I've totally personally gotten away from party politics. So, I want representation, and I want fair representation, that I'm not going to commit to anything more than that personally.
Mm-hmm.
So I was wondering, with your grandma from Jamaica, and you got in touch with your ability to communicate more fully with your subconscious or higher self.
Mm-hmm.
What other, kind of internal changes have you noticed? And as we're going through this whole awakening process as, one human race, have you noticed anything new as far as skills, abilities, things like that?
Yes. So one of the things that was really interesting and really pushed me into that next level was the actual conception and fertility process. So at the beginning of our fertility journey, starting our family, we were saying trying to conceive. And as I said it, it was an energetic mismatch. And every time I would say it, something was like, stop saying that. So I started to think about the word trying. When you say the word trying, you put yourself on an energetic wheel, like a hamster wheel, and you get stuck. And that phrase was created and designed, I believe, by the deep state to stop fertility, because you're never trying, you're just going to do it. You're just going to create a family. That's what you're going to do. So we stopped saying that, and I started saying, practicing towards pregnancy, having fun, things like that. Those were some of the little things, little nuances that I learned. With the second son, I realized that I was being visited by these spirit babies before having conception. Like the month or two before, I would get an influx of their energy in my field. I would feel them. It would be a higher presence, not like a baby presence, but I started to realize what was going on. And I made that into my future business, which right now it's just a side thing because there's too much going on. I got a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old. I got toddlers at home. There's no way right now, but I've just been blogging, and I have my channels, and I am going to eventually create a spiritual fertility coaching program where I have online classes, and I explain more about what's happening with fertility and also childbirth. Childbirth is something that a lot of people are very scared of, and it's all in your subconscious. When you're 14 years old and you watch a TV show that has a woman screaming their head off about fertility, about childbirth, that gets stuck in your subconscious. And you have to actually deprogram that and reprogram success. So one of the reasons why I had, such a big awakening, because my body was a part of the awakening. And I actually, with the childbirth, I actually had a 3-hour labor, the first one, and then a 2-hour labor and delivery with the second one. And 80% of the women with blissborn hypnobirthing, their labor is under 5 hours. And we're actually training that with the whole system. So I became an educator for the blissborn, and moving that towards to like a fertility type of business. I'm still creating it. It's but I'm going to that it's in the beginning stages.
Now,
I
I didn't mean to interrupt you, Julie. Go ahead.
Sorry. I've never even heard of such a thing. I mean, honestly, it sounds beautiful, but I've never heard of hypnobirthing. And I mean, my goodness, it sounds like something that's going to come to us for this future beautiful life. It's going to be a main part of birthing, but I've never heard of it. So now I have to go do some research on it, because I just found out that I'm a new grandma.
Congrats.
Number 3. And I'm like, I gotta pass this on to my daughter, because you're right. I don't even, my son is 36. They over medicated me when I had him. I couldn't eat I just remember my legs falling off the table. I could barely hold him. I was so drugged up, and it stole all that beauty. And you're right. It should be the most powerful, beautiful thing from that moment of conception all the way through, but they just make it, so bogged down with, but the spiritual part needs to come forth. And I think that's kind of what you said made it so special. So I've got to research this, because I've never heard of it. So whatever it is, I'm fascinated. So
yeah, and I'll definitely help you with the research, because I've done a ton of it. And it is hypnobirthing. It was designed for over 10 years ago. And basically it is teaching women, expectant mothers, to go into hypnosis, self-hypnosis, while they're having those contractions or surges, whatever you want to call it. And you don't have the medication. So you're actually able to tap into the oxytocin that your body is already producing. I believe it's the pineal gland that produces the actual oxytocin, and that creates the ability for you to open up. So, labor and delivery, it doesn't happen between the legs, it happens between the ears. And that's why women stop their progression, because they're afraid. So if you can accept it, understand what's going on, create those techniques, and we teach all of that stuff, it really helps. I was able to help my cousin and my sister, my cousin-in-law's sister, my cousin's sister, not sister, sorry, my cousin's wife. She was pregnant in Bahamas at the time of quarantine, and we were able to do like a Zoom call, and I helped her out with that. And she had an amazing birth. So
Very beautiful.
yeah, and it has become ritualized. And I mean, there's a lot of words I can use, but the deep state has ritualized the actual birthing process. And it's not supposed to be as painful as it is, number one. It's very manageable when you're calm and when you're collected. And it's also very beautiful. And you do want to remember those moments after and have that eye contact, that skin contact, all of that is so important.
Right, right.
Yeah.
One of the things I'm trying to do with the spotlight, Dayna, is if people have, you've mentioned that you blog, you've mentioned having a channel, as long as there's no subscription fee or charge, or if you're even just on a donation basis, I'll be happy to put that information in the video description for you. So if you will send me those in an email, I'll plug those in on the description box so people can look you up without having to hunt and search. But if you have links to a pay site, please let's not do that. I'm trying to avoid that, so that people can access information that's for your donation basis. No problem.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, right now I have YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, so I can send you those. That's perfect.
Okay, that'd be great. Yeah.
Appreciate
Now,
that.
where do you blog at?
On Instagram and Facebook, basically. It's the comments section. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, is there anything else you wanted to share with us before I ask you my final question?
Well, yes, I want to make sure everyone knows that we're all on the same team. There's a lot of different colors, different genres, different people that are on this journey of the Great Awakening. I think, especially mainstream media, they have spinned it to be like Bible Belt or middle of the country or only the red states, and it's not. I mean, I'm the only person that I know that's awake. I joined Connecting Consciousness at the very beginning part of this awakening. I know you're part of that as well, just to connect with people so I could feel like I was a part of something. And when you hear people say that number 45 is racist, it's not true. Do your research. It's not true. Yeah, I've done a ton of research on that.
Now, in the interest of being honest here, after I started my channel, I did remove myself from Connecting Consciousness, not with any acrimony, I just thought I wanted to be really careful that if I have a tie, it tends to be seen as an endorsement. And so there are a lot of beautiful people there, but this way, if management takes a left turn and I want to go right, I don't have to worry about it. I'm an independent, soul. But you are so right, because I've met people 40 years younger than me that are as awake as I am. That's why I keep trying to emphasize we are one human race. I'm not even going to get into gender arguments. Whatever you identify as, I love you. You're human. Let's go. From there.
That's exactly.
We got to make that in the forefront, and then we can go forward, because that's what I love about Laura's channel. I mean, there's a lot of compassion. Everyone's dealing with hard things, and I mean, everybody could have a spotlight moment, I'm sure, because we're all conquering.
You're breaking up a little bit, sweetie. So I'm going to go ahead and go to my final question. Dayna,
Laura,
Julie.
Oh, is that better?
Now it is, but we totally lost that. So I'm going to just go ahead and ask Dayna. Dayna, if you had a claim to fame, what would you say it was? Or is it still getting crafted as you build your business and get your business plan kind of solidified?
Well, for fame, it might be more internal fame for me, because I just realized what was happening, and I woke up. I'm the only person that I know that's this awake, if you will. from a physical perspective, family, friends, and it is what it is. It's okay. People are on their own steps. But my claim to fame from a personal perspective, when I was watching the RNC convention, DNC convention, I watched everything, just tried to be as nonpartisan as possible to figure out what I wanted to do on my Scantron. And I felt at one point, when I kept on saying, why is this happening? Why is this happening? Why are they saying this? I constantly ask myself why, just like a little kid. So I'm okay with the kids asking me why. And I could feel like attachments people have attachments that are in different dimensions, and they actually hook into your energy field and they stay on you until you let them go. You tell them to go, you push them away, and you do not consent. And I could feel one leaving me as I kept on asking why. And I actually saw it in my third eye. And it had like really slanty beady eyes with almost looked like a genie, but like a mean genie with the cone shaped bottom that goes into nothing, almost like a ghost on cartoons. And I realized, okay, this is one of the reasons why we have to be so compassionate when other people wake up, because we live in a free will world, and they have to actually say no to these attachments, and they will come right back the next day and attach onto you unless you are vigorous at cleaning your energy. So I actually there's some energy clearings online, and it's through Global Enlightenment Project. It's completely free. Anybody can go on their website. I can send you the link. And they're donation based. Oh, okay, wonderful. And it just really helps. I've been doing it for 2 years, and I just feel really clean and clear. And I just feel like, for me, that's my claim to fame. It's not necessarily fame, but for me it is. And
yeah, because it's transformative, and finding out we've got those that we have attachments, and that just that daily protocol. I don't necessarily do the one I mentioned. I have that side bookmark. I just over time came up with I say, I give my heart, soul, and love here. I align myself with all things good in the light, and no other energy is invited, welcome, permitted, either explicitly or implicitly. And 30 seconds, and I'm kind of like, okay, I'm ready to go. Well, thank you so much.
That's what I love about these spotlights, Laura, because I'm still learning about all this. I mean, a couple of years ago, what's an attachment? I didn't even know. I mean, we have to be aware of these things, and then we can change these things. And that's what I love about just sharing with each other, because I got a lot to learn. And Dayna, you're just magnificent. And what I was saying earlier is every single one of us on this channel probably could take a spotlight, because we're all so special, and no one's not special, but it just helps each other learn. And Dayna, you've got some magnificent information I've never heard about. I'm still learning about, cleansing and keeping myself clear. So it's all part of sharing, and it's part of love. And I love it. It's great to just learn. Everybody's learning as we go, and it makes it beautiful. So thank you.
It's like we're making a quilt, and each of us has a special piece to add to it, So Dayna, thank you so much for showing us a little bit of yours. And I know we've dropped some breadcrumbs and planted some seeds, and people will have an opportunity to expand their awareness even more. And so thank you very much. So with that, I'm going to say thank you, Julie.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.
Thank you, Dayna.
Thank you so much. Thank you for offering this and building a great community. And I think this is your life purpose now on the planet, Laura, and you're doing a fantastic job. Thank you so much, Laura and Julie.
It's done with joy. It really is. I hop out of bed in the morning, glad to be awake. And I mean, I was always hopping out of bed and glad to be awake, but not nearly as much as I do now. So thank you so much. That's it for Laura's View in Tarot 2. And we'll continue with the recording. Stop, Julie, just a second. Bye, everybody.